Hi, everybody. Welcome to our virtual presentation of social emergency medicine and diversity, equity, and inclusion at the Harbor UCLA Emergency Medicine Residency Program. I am joined for this session with members and leadership of our DEI committee, including some of our co-residents and faculty. The mission of our DEI committee is to build a team of humanistic providers that demonstrate a diversity in background, strong intellect, and commitment to the underserved. We are a resident-driven group, and we actively participate in our ranking system and doing holistic review of our applicants and actively working with our faculty for some of our DEI initiatives that we will talk about during this presentation. We hope that with this presentation, we can give you an overview of the robust projects that we have within social EM projects that we have at Harbor and our collaborations within other departments as well as the local community, and then talk about some of our efforts with diversity and inclusion. So we will discuss our curriculum with social EM elective, some of our projects regarding equity, and some of our initiatives with our DEI team. And I will hand it over to Joyce.
Thanks, Leolia. So just a little bit broader view of our hospital as a whole. So we have over 550 beds in our hospital. We're a level 1 trauma center. We see pediatric trauma, pediatric critical care. We're a STEMI receiving center. Stroke Center, we are designated as one of the LGBTQ plus friendly centers, as well as a healthcare equity leader hospital, these designations. In terms of our patient population, we'll go into the demographics a little bit later, but largely Latinx, African-American, Black population. We are a county hospital, so we are a safety net hospital for Los Angeles County. So we get to see lots and help lots of people. So this is the specific area that we cover. So we cover SPA 6 and SPA 8. SPA is just a designation within Los Angeles County for different areas of Los Angeles that we are designated to help. So you can see these stars. So the lower star with the red box around it, that's specifically the area that we cover. So we cover cities such as Compton, as well as like Torrance is where our hospital is located, but lots of other cities in that area. So something that's super cool as emergency physicians in a safety net hospital is our day-to-day also integrates a lot of primary care. We're often patients' first ever touch with the healthcare system, and so we're able to connect them to our primary care clinics. So we have a really easy way to do that on our shift. We just impanel a patient. It's a simple order that we place, and then they get contacted to get set up with primary care. The other things that are really awesome about our system is, for example, if someone comes in pregnant, needs beta HCG checks, things like that, we can easily connect them with our GYN urgent care and other specialty clinics as well. We also have a team of substance abuse counselors, and we also have Narcan at our disposal within the emergency department that we can just pass out Narcan, give them examples on how to use it. And so they leave our emergency department with Narcan in hand. So lots of very great ways that we can help people while we're on shift, connect them to longer term care, specialty care, as well as substance use care. And we'll go into that a little bit later as well.
I am Lauren. I'm one of the attending faculty at Harbor. And so one of the programs that I run is the social EM elective curriculum. So what's amazing about Harbor is we're one of the first programs, EM programs, to have a required social emergency medicine rotation. This has been a great experience for residents to be able to get involved with different programs in the community, so that all benefit our patients. On the left, you see that there's a street medicine program that provide medical care directly to patients who are experiencing homelessness in Venice, and our team is working with our residents are going to be working with a team even closer to Harbor soon. We also have a food pharmacy on Wednesdays that provides free fruits and vegetables to patients, And so our residents are involved with that as well. And on the right, there's a tattoo removal clinic that's through Homeboy Industries that we started working with recently as well. These are just a few examples of some of the programs that the residents have opportunities to rotate with. And we're constantly revamping and adding new things to the curriculum based on resident feedback. So it's been a great experience for residents to be able to get involved with all these different organizations that are so beneficial to our patients. And as Joyce kind of touched on earlier regarding the Narcan, we have a lot of programs at Harbor that are specifically targeted towards substance use disorder. This is a huge problem, especially in LA. And so we're really on the forefront when it comes to having resources for patients. So we work with the California Bridge program. We have a substance use navigator in our emergency department. But on top of that, we have a MAT consult team that's through family medicine. That is another program that our residents rotate with the social EM rotation. And this is someone that can be consulted in the ER for starting a patient on Suboxone, but also for a patient who's on Suboxone who comes in with a flare-up of pain and how to treat that. So we're really, involved with all these things. We also have all of our residents ex-waivered, all of our faculty are ex-waivered. This is a program that we set up a few years ago. And we have a substance use disorder order set that we're working on as well, just to make everything really streamlined. And, recently we're adding even more. So we have Narcan in our emergency department that we can just hand to patients. We've had that for a while, but more recently we're working on harm reduction kits, giving out clean needles and other supplies that will help people decrease their risk of that comes along with injection drug use, as well as other types of drug use. And so these are just a few of the many different programs that we have that are targeted towards this patient population.
Hi everyone, my name is Dan. I'm one of the second years here. So I'm going to talk about the language services that's offered at Harbor UCLA. And as you previously saw, we have a very diverse population of the patients, and more of the half of the patients are limited in their English proficiency. So we strongly believe in providing care that's in a language that's preferred by the patient. So we see a lot of Spanish speaking patients, and there are some other common languages that are spoken in LA County. And those include like Chinese, Tagalog, or Korean, Armenian, Vietnamese. And we have interpreter services so that we can provide care in their preferred languages. A couple of options that we have like mobile, like phone translator. We can access them by calling a number, or we even have an application that we can just touch what language they prefer, and we are connected with their audio interpreter. We also have video interpreter for people who use sign languages, or people who prefer like communicating with sign languages because they're hard of hearing, or they have some other limitations in terms of providing verbal communication, for example, trach patients as well. We also have, this is one of the greatest thing about Harbor, we have in-person Spanish interpreter, which they work really long hours beyond normal business hours. I think I've seen them as early as 5 in the morning and as late as 11 at night. And that kind of changed our life when they first started working as an in-person translator or interpreter, because we were able to provide like more layer of interpersonal communication, body language, and it felt more personal for us and the patients to provide the care for them. So it was a great addition that we recently initiated at Harbor UCLA Emergency Department. Another thing that we have is medical legal partnership. This is for patients who are undergoing legal difficulties as a result or consequence of their health problems. So for example, we have a lot of patients who have housing issues or landlord issues or employment issues because of their hospitalization or illness. And we are able to provide legal partnership and legal support for them. And it's just a consult away. We just send an email with the patient information and tell them what they need help with. And I've used it a couple of times to really advocate for the patients, because a lot of patients are undergoing these issues in their society because of their underserved, at risk socioeconomic status and situation. And we have also partnerships with local organizations that we can work with as well, as you can see on the slides. And another thing that we have at Harbor is pipeline education programs. We have affiliation with Charles Drew University and local high school programs. So if you're not familiar with Charles Drew University, that they have a medical school, and their mission is to develop doctors who are underrepresented in medicine. And we have mentorship programs, and I've seen Joyce working with her mentee and having her shadow her while she's working in the ER. And we have partnership with local high school, like Gardena High School, which is where I went to high school. And we go there for like health classes and teaching them and about like various different topics in health. We have electives in home health, homeless health, and street medicine, in addition to the social EM program, which you'll do street medicine as well. And we have sub-I curriculum that for social emergency medicine and social determinants of health. And we have summer urban health fellowship where people who are interested in medicine or a lot of pre-med students can work with our department and family medicine department to do basic training, and they can participate in our disaster preparedness drills, and we have like one-on-one talks with them and like a panel talk. So it's been really great. And lastly, for residents, if you're more interested in these social EM, we have a fellowship at UCLA. It's IDEAL fellowship. So as a fellow, you get to rotate, like you get to clinically work at Elective, which is another county hospital, and Harbor UCLA. And you do a lot of social EM work behind the scene as well.
Thank you, Dan. I'm Natasha. I'm one of our faculty members, and I help with some of our DEI work and the social EM initiatives. So as Lauren mentioned, we do have the food pharmacy, which happens every Wednesday right outside of our ED. It's great because we serve produce to around 350 individuals on a weekly basis, which translates to about 13 to 1,500 individuals when you talk about everyone in households on a weekly basis. And we're one of the few programs at LA County that provides distributions weekly. Most of them are either monthly or bi-weekly, so we're very unique in that point. And we are largely volunteer run, and a lot of our residents and med students come help out at the food pharmacy. So it's a great program for our patients. And one of the initiatives related to the food pharmacy is screening for food insecurity and other social determinants of health. We are currently working on a project to look at attitudes towards food insecurity using the hunger vital signs, and that's being done by Jean, who you hear from later, and one of our other residents as well. And we also have projects in place to broaden the types of social determinants screenings that we do in the ED. Another initiative that we have at Harbor is our Safe Harbor Trauma Recovery Center and our Safe Harbor Hospital-Based Violence Intervention Program. These are both programs that provide adjunct care to a lot of our patients that come into the ED and to the hospital. The Hospital-Based Violence Intervention Program caters to individuals that are at risk for repeat violence, namely those that are gang affiliated, and it's providing dedicated case management by individuals who have lived experience and know the community well. And we also have the Trauma Recovery Center, which provides both case management and mental health services, and I'll go into that in a little bit more detail. So the Trauma Recovery Center is a short-term program, again, dedicated to providing trauma-focused case management and mental health services to individuals that have experienced trauma. What's great about this program is we do not require insurance, we don't charge for services, so they're entirely free of charge. We get a lot of our referrals from ED patients, from our trauma patients, and from local clinics and community partners. And part of the mechanism or how we approach patients is doing a sort of outreach. A lot of patients who have been victimized are hesitant to seek care. There's a lot of mistrust in the healthcare system. So we have a team of really skilled individuals that can outreach our patients and our community members to help provide these services. And again, case management, we provide services such as helping with housing, referrals to legal partners for individuals that might need emergency visas, transportation issues to medical appointments, and then our mental health services. We have a team of psychologists and clinical social workers that can provide trauma-focused therapy for our patients.
Hi everyone, I'm Natalie Hernandez. I'm one of the second-year residents, and I would like to dive into the topic of DEI, which goes hand in hand with social EM. and wanted to compare data from recent years of our patients, which we've already talked about are very diverse, and our emergency medicine residents. I believe this graph is a little bit outdated, so unfortunately, I think we might be doing a little bit worse than this graph depicts. As you can see, our patient population is very much majority Latinx, as well as Black African American. And for our residents, we see quite the flip side on that, with the majority being Caucasian as well as Asian. We know this is an issue throughout all of medicine and emergency medicine, with only about 9% of EM providers being Latinx, which we are moving towards, and about 5% of EM providers are Black or African American, and we are far fewer than that as residents. Our faculty are also lacking in this type of demographic diversity, and this is something that we are really working on. As well as language, we want to have providers that speak the languages of our patients and share the cultures of our patients. Again, as was previously mentioned, over half of our patients have limited English proficiency. Thankfully, we have a lot of language services for those providers who don't speak the same language as their patients. But we know, moving on to the next slide, that we can provide better care to our patients when we share the same language and or culture as our patients. This has been shown in studies and also just on a day-to-day basis. I feel like I connect so well with my patients when I speak to them in Spanish, and they see that I'm also come from similar background as them. But we need providers who come from all different backgrounds. And we know that this issue is far greater than just recruiting diverse residents. That's why we're actively participating in those pipeline programs that were mentioned previously by Dan, getting high school students involved early and interested in healthcare. But as far as initiatives we're working on in recruiting diverse residents, we are targeting individuals who may be interested in rotating here as sub-Is. We have a scholarship for those who identify as URM. And in our review of applications, we do a holistic review, meaning we don't just look at test scores. We don't cut people out just because they got a certain number of honors or a certain score on their step 2. We try to look at the entire application, look at leadership opportunities and how well they could best fit our community and best serve our community.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Jean. I'm a PGY3 at Harbor. And for our leadership portion, we are really grateful to have a diverse group of faculty members who've dedicated so much of their lives to providing a thoughtful and supportive training environment at Harbor. Dr. Yadav will help you get any grant you want, basically. Dr. Oguni is the backbone to our weekly didactic conferences and many of the other aspects to resident life at Harbor. She's always around, basically only works night shifts, so we'll see her lots. Dr. Thomas leads many research initiatives as well as the social medicine initiatives and helping us fund the food pharmacy. Dr. Kaji is our queen and former interim chair and the most efficient and caring doctor you'll ever meet. And Dr. Hernandez is our PD, who always has our back, whether it's giving us financial support to host any social gathering, 4th of July parties, or making our rotations and other specialties fruitful by advocating for us in the hospital. And Dr. Lopez will get her shout out very soon. So for the next slide, in terms of our social health, there are lots of department-sponsored interest groups and social groups that meet weekly to quarterly. They include the Feminine group, which is very active. We get together at local restaurants or in various residents' homes for cheese and wine nights. We have a new interspecialty women of color group that was created by our own Natalie Hernandez, who just spoke about diversity during this talk. This group includes residents from family medicine and OB-GYN as well. The bottom left photo is the first event for the group at the home of Dr. Lopez, and she's going to be the exciting new role for her, the new CMO of Zocalo Health, which is a tech startup that is building a healthcare delivery system and wraparound services dedicated to the Latino community. And their next event is going to be at the home of Dr. Denise Whitfield. She's a former commander in the U.S. Navy and doctor for Michelle Obama, as well as the First Family. Additionally, we have hashtag Black Beach and LA Latinos. They're both WhatsApp and GroupMe group messaging platforms for residents to speak with each other, form groups, and share in their the activities that they like to do, as well as we have a what we call DNR for short, doctors and registered nurses. It's a group that is revived after COVID at Harbor, and we hang out with our nurses. We've done beach bonfire days at Dockweiler, and I've gone to several local breweries. For our next slide on mental health, our department offers mental health support via our own psychiatrist, Dr. Hoda. She's a wonderful human. I've personally seen her, and she's just great to talk with. We also have a wellness committee who understands that wellness does not come from lectures, but physical, financial, and emotional support. We have a rounding room that's stocked with Costco staples. You can see on the bottom right photo, we've got frozen burritos, PB&Js, tea, Greek yogurt, fruit, chips, nuts, granola bars, and much more. We've also done a pilot of HelloFresh deliveries. Our department pays for rideshare overnights or after call shifts, and we have many active leaders in CIR negotiating for better salaries, housing stipends, educational stipends, and our department actively works with residents who might have various life struggles come up, and they ensure that they have the time and the space to graduate on time. We also have many resident-led activities like post-conference volleyball that you see in the photo on the bottom third. And it's one of the glues, I think, that holds our program together and brings people from each class together. And we get to hang out with our med students and sub-Is during these events as well. It's one of our class favorites.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for sharing more about our social EM projects and DEI at Harbor. And thank you to whoever is watching. We hope this was a helpful overview for you all, and we'll look forward to meeting you all throughout the recruitment season. Here is our contact information. We're all available and around if you have any questions about the initiatives or projects we talked about. Please feel free to reach out to us, and I'm sure there'll be more opportunities throughout the application season. And then we also had a Q&A from our we had virtual sessions in the summer that covered this as well, and the QR code links to a Q&A that we had in the summer. If y'all have any questions, you might find the answers to them there as well. And thank you all very much.